Thanks for checking in on the State of Basketball Podcast, episode 77. I'm Adam Miller, and I'm here with Jaren Wilt each and every week, where we are going to be bringing you the news and notes on all 11 Division I schools in the state of Indiana, because in 49 states,
just basketball. I was fully prepared for you to not hand it over to me for that.
You know, I felt so bad about it last week. Like, I went home and just thought about it. Like, I can't believe I did him dirty. We've done 75, and we get past the 3/4 mark of 100, and I rip it right out from under you. I felt bad.
It's like in the beginning when we were recording.
Yeah.
And instead of going live, and you would mess up the episode number or mess up our names or something.
Yeah. I'd be like, just start over.
Yeah. The number of times that we've done that.
Yeah.
Is substantial.
And
I thought we were past that.
I thought we were too, and I think I was just like really excited about it, really excited about getting started, and then the NCAA tournament, and
I'll give you some credit. We did start like 3 hours earlier than normal.
Yeah.
Last week, 4 hours almost.
Yeah.
Earlier than normal, so like
5:30.
Your internal clock was messed up.
I agree. Yeah.
You weren't like in the proper zone. I think it was. So I'll cut you some slack.
Well, thank you.
You do it again though. I'm looking for a new co-host.
We forgot to ask when we were talking to our sponsor earlier. Are we supposed to do a sponsored segment here? Our power rankings are one team, because there's one team left. Actually, that's not true. There are still technically 2 teams playing, right? It's just 2 at this point. Just Notre Dame in the NIT, or just Butler in the NIT, and then Purdue in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
So 1 and 2. Right? Those are our power rankings. 1 and 2.
Yeah, and those are brought to you by Crow's Nest Coffee. So buy yourself a bag of coffee, ground, pre-ground, unground. I guess ground is this. Pre-ground is that's whole. That means whole bean, right? Pre-ground.
Pre-ground could be anything. You could be getting a coffee plant, and it would still be pre-ground, I guess.
You can buy ground or whole bean bags by visiting Crow's Nest Coffee. You can check the link in our description to buy individual purchases with 15% off using promo code TSOB, or sign up for the subscription service to receive 2 bags every month. But that is those are our power rankings.
Coffee might have something.
We're working on an additional collab with them. More on that on a future date, but it's something that I think would be pretty cool. So
let's get into it though. We're here this week, so if you're here live, games are still going on. Like, Maryland is up 68-66 on Colorado State with 1:14 left, and then Ole Miss is up 11 points. Scored just changed. 11 points on Iowa State. So games are still going, and then there's 1 more or 2 more after this.
2 more.
2 more.
There's Michigan State plays. Actually, I think it started. That game might have just started. Also, Oregon.
We won't be breaking down all of the games, because not all of the games will have concluded. We didn't want to wait until midnight to start, and we didn't want to push it till tomorrow either. So we're here. We're going to break down the first 2 rounds as much as we can. Mm-hmm. We probably won't talk about every single game, because that's a lot of games, but we'll talk about the ones that we think are notable, and we'll talk about Purdue for sure.
Yeah.
But you just want to. So how do you want to do this, Jaren? Do you want to go region by region? Do you want to go day by day?
I think region by region is probably going to make the most sense, because like I said, we're not going to talk about every game. Going day by day might get a little convoluted.
Mm-hmm.
We just pull up a region and talk about some quick hitters from that region.
Yeah.
That might make the most sense. I also think it'll keep us from talking for hours.
Yeah. And, we don't need to talk about, like, for example, like, we probably don't need to spend much time on Duke's first round game. But I guess we'll start with the number one overall seeds region. So we'll start in the South region. What's the game of the first round for you in that region?
The game of the first round?
Yeah. So in the first round there, what's the one game that, like, you can only talk about one? You're not limited to just one, but just for the sake of the question.
I feel like Michigan, UC, San Diego.
Yep.
That I think it was the closest game.
Yeah.
All around. Not factoring in. I mean, there were some close games score wise, but I think just in general, the back and forth of that game, Louisville Creighton was probably a close second.
Louisville Creighton was Louisville didn't compete nearly as much as I thought that they were going to.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. UC San Diego, Michigan, because that was like, what was the line? Like 2.5 for Michigan was favored barely.
I don't remember, to be quite honest
but,
with you.
Like, that was probably the most popular. All the 512s are popular this year, but that one is probably the most popular because Michigan was kind of underseeded after winning the Big Ten tournament, and then UC San Diego has just been playing incredibly well. And then the first half, UC San Diego was atrocious, like just horrible. And then in the second half, like, they started coming on, and I texted Elliot, and he was like, "I have never seen them play so bad. Like, they're playing their game. They're getting they're turning them over a bunch. They just cannot buy a bucket." And
Right.
So the first half was really bad for UC San Diego, and then they came on in the second half and got really close. And I thought that they were going to pull it off. My bracket didn't have UC San Diego because I picked too many other 5-12 upsets, but I felt like Michigan was going to squeak by somehow, and that's exactly what happened because Michigan just loves to win by 3 or lose by 3.
Yeah, I think part of it too of why that game was on a lot of people's radars was just the fact that Michigan played such a gauntlet in the Big Ten tournament. They're playing back to back to back game or they played 3 games.
Yeah.
So 3 back to back games. Plus then because they were underseeded, they had to go all the way out west. So they had that disadvantage of traveling across the country on 3 days rest. And I was honestly kind of shocked that they won because of all those factors. Don't get me wrong, they're a great team.
Good team, good coach.
Yeah, but
the odds, playing close to UC San Diego having a lot more rest.
Yeah.
Definitely was not advantageous for Michigan, but they got it done. And then Michigan goes on to win, gets down pretty big to Texas A&M, and then they pull off a huge comeback and beat Texas A&M in the second round.
I almost took A&M to cover like a live when Michigan was down. It's like I almost took them to the A&M live spread. Glad I didn't.
Yeah.
But I think that it was an impressive win all around. I'm very much looking forward to their game against Auburn.
Yeah, that one's going to be interesting because they're somehow going to keep it close. Like, Auburn hasn't looked incredible in the tournament.
See, that's where I think that now Auburn is going to like flip that switch. They had a little bit of a scare against Creighton. I wouldn't call it a scare, but like
it was scary.
They played closer to Creighton than I think that they thought that they should have, and I think most people thought that they should have. But I have a feeling that Auburn's just going to come out and steamroll them. Well, I'm probably wrong.
Well,
usually am.
But I would normally be like on board with that thinking, but that's exactly what I thought about Auburn after losing in the SEC tournament. I was like, oh, they're going to come out on fire and they're going to steamroll everyone.
I mean, they did win by 20 in their first game.
To Alabama State. I mean, Duke won by
50?
44. And then they won by 12 against Creighton, like a really good Creighton team. But bless you.
Thank you.
But still, I mean, maybe they will turn it on against Michigan, and then whoever they get on the other side of the bracket, who I thought could be Iowa State, but based on this game today, it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. Talk about the Louisville Creighton game. The one thing I wanted to bring up is like, I picked Louisville, right? As I think
Same.
most of, 50% of brackets had Louisville.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder is like, why? I mean, Louisville is a good team, right?
They're
playing well.
Weren't they? Well, this region was in Rupp.
Yeah.
So that's probably also why.
Yeah, because it's close to home.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely thought that Louisville was underseeded.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, they're underseeded. I thought Creighton was accurately seeded. I do feel like they were a 9. I was like, okay, Louisville should come out guns firing.
Right. They should, be mad that they were slighted and had as an 8 seed, and then
they just played absolute, like, it was back and forth for a bit, if I remember correctly. Like, in the sense of like Louisville was like scratching and clawing.
Yeah, they didn't run away with it like right away.
Yeah,
like it was never out of reach, but it never really seemed within reason that they were going to come back and win it.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of more what I was getting at. So that was interesting to me.
But it was like a fine first game to the tournament. Like technically you started on an upset. Technically 9-8, especially if you think Louisville's underseeded. But
yeah,
in the South region, the thing is, the game that I really probably want to talk about is Michigan State, New Mexico, but just we aren't there yet in life. It has not happened
yet.
Literally
has not even.
We are behind. If you're here watching the next day, we are live on TikTok here, so this is the first time we're doing a simultaneous broadcast. Other than that, I mean, like, not a ton. I mean, in this region, Ole Miss beating North Carolina. I mean, kind of beating their brains in for 20-25 minutes, and then North Carolina comes back, looks like they're gonna do it, and then Ole Miss just finishes them off.
Does that surprise you after the play-in game of the way North Carolina played? How they came out and just said, pretty much proved a bunch of people wrong.
Saying they threw SDSU into the dirt.
Yeah, it was like, okay, they maybe North Carolina did deserve to be in, and it's like, no, they were just they had enough juice in them to, like,
the juice and the matchup was right for them to do it.
Yeah.
And, this performance is kind of what I thought we would get from North Carolina.
Absolutely.
As opposed to the first four. The first four, I think, was the anomaly in my mind.
And I agree with you on that. I wanted to make sure to touch on that just because there was that play-in game.
Yeah. But like Auburn played it close in the first half to Alabama State, and then Michigan State was playing it really close to Bryant. Bryant was playing really well. But we can move on from this region because I'd rather talk about.
Oh my God. Maryland
they just won on a buzzer beater.
Yeah. 2.7 left. They were
was
down
that a true buzzer beater? Did you just hit your bet? No subsequent inbound play?
Hang on.
I think it was. Yeah.
They went way too far.
No, you're good.
Sorry, this is exuberating content.
So Maryland just was down 70-71 to Colorado State, and they hit a buzzer beater to win. We're just going back and checking, see if it was a true buzzer beater.
3.7 seconds left, down 1. Maryland's down 1.
I mean, there's no subsequent inbound play. Is that Derek Queen? Derek Queen. Oh my gosh, that's nuts. That's a nuts play.
Grab 5. Moving on to the Sweet 16.
That's awesome. I had them winning, I think I had them winning. So now Maryland's going to play Florida. So let's talk about that region then, because that brings us to the West region, Jaren. Where Florida, is now advanced to the Sweet 16. And They did it in kind of surprising fashion because they did not blow out UConn how I thought that they were like, which is what I thought was going to happen. I thought, they would get through their first round game, Norfolk State, fine, have literally no issues, and then I thought that they would go into the UConn game and also have literally no issues. Who won? Maryland won by one. Maryland won by one over Colorado State.
72-71.
But the UConn game, like UConn was up, right? For
I thought
most
UConn,
of the first half. Most of the first half.
Yeah.
And then, they were handling Florida, and it seemed like Florida just wasn't going to get it done. But they ended up pulling away in the end. I mean, they got some good stops, and their offense is just too good. Their offense is just too good to stop them. Too good to be stopped, rather. And then they lost by 2. They really lost by 5 because McNeely hit the 3 at the buzzer.
For them to cover.
To make it only
or
be
for them to hit the over.
To hit the over. To be a 2-point game instead of a 5-point game. But
yeah.
Other than that, in this region, I think the game of this region is probably Missouri Drake, because that was a popular one. Everyone thought that Drake could do it, and then Drake kind of controlled this game for they played their slow pace. Missouri was playing, how Drake wanted to, and then it got to a point in the second half where Drake went cold. Missouri started to play their game a little bit, and they got it close, and then Drake pulled away at the end, started getting some stops. Missouri couldn't capitalize on, couldn't turn him over or anything, couldn't get anything on their side of the floor, and then Drake just took the 30 seconds of the shot clock every single time and ended up winning the game, which makes me sad because I wanted Tamar Bates to win. Seems like a really good dad.
Yeah, sorry, I was checking to see if that counted for the bet I placed. It seemingly
it'll update eventually. You'll notice it later.
But my Maryland money line and Colorado State to cover hit, so that was nice.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I honestly thought Drake was gonna beat Texas Tech. Thought it was gonna happen. I felt like there was the magic.
Texas, I mean,
we've been yearning for magic this entire time.
Yeah, Texas Tech, once the game actually got going, though, it seemed fine.
Yeah, I more so meant going into the game.
Yeah.
I thought Drake was gonna do it just because, again, it might be some.
And Tech got pushed by UNC Wilmington.
Yeah, which.
Did you see they set a record in this game? Texas Tech did in the UNC Wilmington game.
Mm-mm.
They set a school record most threes attempted in a game. I didn't get the final tally because I was listening to another game at the time, but the last number I heard was 47 attempted threes. Okay, so they attempted a school record number of threes, and the interesting thing is their game that they won against Drake, they won by doing almost the complete opposite. They just played inside and just killed them inside. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy just to see how differently they played against two teams.
13 of 46 against UNC Wilmington.
Yeah, 46.
2 of 14 against Drake.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And they're a team that they did shoot 43 threes against Houston. Is that the previous record?
Probably.
That was 2 weeks ago. Well, I guess. Sorry.
It's crazy just seeing a team
3 weeks ago, not at this point, but
playing completely different styles, but it's the same team. And just at will, just they just take whatever's given to them.
I mean, that's like Indiana switching to a zone.
I guess. If you want to put it that way.
But no, I mean, I think that's just the mark of good coaching. I feel like, or I guess good game planning, maybe good in-game
Maybe,
adjustments.
yeah.
I guess I
Just take
don't.
what's given to you.
Yeah,
Take what the defense gives you. Like, yeah, we can if we shoot 46, we can make them at a high rate. Like, if you'll let us shoot 46, we'll shoot 46.
I mean, I wouldn't say that high rate.
How many do they make?
13.
That's not that bad. That's like 28% is my guess.
Actually, 8.3.
Let's go. Look at my mental math. I had a moment in one of these games where I was sitting there just like watching, 4 games at once on the first day. And I was like, could you imagine how horrible it would be to be someone who's just like terrible at math and like specifically terrible at mental math? And you're like watching a game and you're like, how many are we down? The score is 47 to 39. How many is that?
8.
Like, just like can't do mental math. You're like, what if that was you? Like, that would be horrible.
I mean, it's dang near close.
You were a math major though. You were a math major.
For like what, a week? 2
I don't know,
weeks?
man. We didn't go to college together.
That's your fault.
You know what? Maybe it's both of our faults. But and then, so that was like the game of the first round of this region. And then the one narratively that's fun is Kansas Arkansas. Arkansas wins that one, which I thought that was going to happen because I am determined to pick against Hunter Dickinson. That's just what I did and what worked out. The thing that I didn't see coming was them then going on to beat St. John's by 9.
Yeah, I mean, we collectively selected St. John's to win the whole thing.
Yeah, in our team, our show bracket.
And I like individually, I had St. John's in the 8 against Florida. So that well,
I might have had them in the Final Four.
I knew it was cooked when they were down like 6 and they needed threes to fall. I was like, you need to shoot threes here to keep this within reach.
Well, the thing is they didn't.
And they suck.
The thing is they didn't. But Arkansas guarded them. It really kept them out of the paint. So their only option was to shoot threes. Like, they let Arkansas dictate what they were doing on offense instead of, which we saw.
Good game planning, I guess. They can't shoot threes.
Yeah. Neither one of them can shoot threes. Like, I think they were like a combined 4 for 44 or something ridiculous. Like, they were both atrocious. They're both terrible 3-point shooting teams. And it was like, part of me died inside watching 2 Hall of Fame coaches coach against each other while their teams are just throwing up bricks repeatedly. Just all game, just bricking every single shot.
Let's see. In that game, it was Arkansas was 2 of 19 and St. John's was 2 of 22.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, dude. It's
oh my goodness, what is this, an IUPUI game?
Yeah. So I did not see that one coming. I did not see them winning by 9, but interestingly, RJ Lewis was benched for the last 5 minutes of the game. Like, they were down 2, and he benched him. And afterwards, they after post game, they asked him why'd you bench the Big East Player of the Year for the last 5 minutes? And Rick Pitino was saying he played 30 minutes. That's a lot of minutes. Not saying why, not saying he was out there playing to get, trying to score, not doing what I wanted. And I get it. But do you think it's the right move? You're down 2, went down 2 in the tournament, win or go home. Think it's the right move? Because it did not work out. It might not have worked out if he played him.
Right.
But it did not work out this way either.
I think the big thing when I look at it is, if even best player or not, we'll call him the best player because he on paper was the best player in the conference. Um, he wasn't he the he wasn't making a shots. He wasn't scoring. He wasn't. He was
Yeah, he was like
playing.
3 of
Yeah,
17.
he was playing atrociously, and
He was
so
plus
like,
5 though. He was plus 5.
well,
Minus 14 when he's off. Think about it.
yeah, but like at the same time, you have to give your team the best opportunity to score you. So you, in my opinion, you have to look at someone else. It's like, okay, we need to put someone else in because if they start making their shots, then it like makes up for not having RJ.
Yeah, I just like, you know,
That's how
5 minutes left.
that's how I approach it as a coach, at least when it comes to baseball, is like it might not be the best move, but when it's down to crunch time and you need to make an adjustment, you need to figure something out, you gotta go to someone else. Because
Which if you're in the sectional championship game, and you're down. I don't know how can I make this baseball analogy. Would you bench your all state player if he's not giving you anything?
well, first of all, we would never be in that situation.
Yeah, but what if you were? I mean, we know. Hey man,
I
there was
think
there was a Mr. Baseball who came through the high school
Yeah,
we went to.
yeah,
You were on the team with him, but not the coach.
I think that it depends. It just depends. Like, what's the
It's not a 1-to-1 either between baseball and basketball in
right?
this case. Like it's not an easy thing to say because it's like
Because we've got guys on our team that are like, I mean, there's like, okay, you've got guys that are good defensively and good offensively.
it's like what
And
do
you
you
got
say
guys that are
like
both, but
you
like,
know like if your best hitter is just striking out, do you then throw in a DH or like a pinch hitter for him? Would that be a better analogy? Like do you have someone
yeah,
bat for him?
yeah,
Would you?
probably.
Or you're like he can rise to the moment.
Or I'm making him bunt. It all depends on the situation. Like, are there runners on? Do we need to get runners on? If there's no one on the base and our best hitter's going up, I'm probably gonna DH him for someone or pinch hit him for someone that's maybe faster. Like if I've got a good bunter
Mhm.
sitting on the bench and we need to get a runner on, having him throw down a bunt and getting on. If I like trust that over our best hitter who might not be a good bunter kind of thing. It's all just like I think it comes down to the specific situation. And in this game, they needed buckets and they weren't getting it from RJ.
He's trying. I don't know.
And
It was just
ironically, the
an
guy that they
interesting
put in
thing.
also bricked like 3 threes.
As you must. Everyone's
So,
bricking 3 threes on that team.
oh
Dude.
yeah.
Do you have anything else on the West region? Anything else you want to talk about? We talked about how Maryland just beat Colorado State. That was a really good game. I knew. You know how I knew Maryland was going to win?
How did you know?
There was a boost on Colorado State money line that they were offering, and I was like, all right, Maryland's going to win. I should have taken Maryland money line.
I did do that.
But I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely not happening now. They jinxed them.
Yeah. I did want Colorado State to win. Again, I just wanted to see there might not be any
Mid-majors?
No, not that. Well, yes, that, but like
Double-digit seeds?
yeah,
Just one.
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Is like Arkansas is a 10 seed is like that's not yes, they are a 10
They're a 10
seed,
seed because they were historically bad at the start of the
but
SEC season.
at the same time, it doesn't feel like when you say 10 seed Arkansas, it just feels dirty because they're an SEC school. Like
Only one region has a chalk Sweet 16, and that's the Midwest.
yeah.
Sure. I mean, it could be. I mean, we're pretty close in the West with a 1, a 4, a 3, and a 10.
Pretty close in the East.
Yeah. Maryland and Colorado State best game so far. Definitely one of them. I feel like the good games didn't start until last night. was like when the good games happened, because last night is when you got BYU Wisconsin, which is in the region we're going to talk about. Last night you got what else is last night? Houston Gonzaga. That was another good one. And then UCLA Tennessee. That's one where I went to bed. But you want to move to the East, Jaren?
Yep. Back up to the top. We talked about the Duke Mount St. Mary's. Duke just blew out both these teams, and that really doesn't surprise me. I did expect Baylor to score more, but
I didn't, dude. Duke has like the top 5 defense, don't they?
Something like that, but Baylor can score.
Not this Baylor team.
That's true. Arizona over Akron was just sad.
Yeah, not even competitive.
Because I wanted Akron to do it. I think I picked Akron in one of my. I think I had to talk you off the ledge of picking Akron in our show bracket. Right? No, that was
no.
We were talking.
No, you had to pick
Arizona over Oregon.
Yeah, you had to tell me that Oregon, right? Did you make me pick Arizona in the second one? I don't know. We had a long discussion about Oregon, Arizona, though.
Yeah, I think I wanted Arizona because I was like,
good for 2.
Yeah, and you just hate Oregon. You just fade Oregon. The first round in the East was just St. Mary's Vanderbilt. Only good game, really.
Alabama Robert Morris was really fun. St. Mary's Vanderbilt was like close, but like I just hate watching. I hate watching St. Mary's, dude. I hate to say it, but like they're so unfun to watch, man. It's so slow and ugly, and it's just like it's just unfun basketball. That's the only way I can put it, is it's just unfun to watch. But like Robert Morris in Alabama, dude for Robert Morris had the game of his life, and that's one that we picked in our show for Robert Morris to win. And I was like, there's no doubt in my mind, like given who Alabama is and given who Robert Morris is, that Robert Morris covers this 21.5 or whatever. I was like, that's the freest bet of all time, because
I think it was more than that.
Because if you know anything about Robert Morris in Alabama, like that is guaranteed to hit.
Cody at Smash It Sports, he took Alabama to cover 22.5 minus 22.5, and I called him out. I was like, that's just straight up disrespectful. And his rationale was he trusts Bama to put up 85 plus.
Right.
I was like, homie must not know that Robert Morris averages 77 a game.
Right.
So like,
by that logic,
it's still they would cover. And I just had all faith in Robert Morris, just because it helped that we watched them play several times throughout the year. But I just think that they were just a good team. Also, someone circulated a tweet about Dockich, tweeting about how Derek didn't commit. Derek Queen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Indiana dodged a bullet here, essentially, is what he said. And yet Derek Queen's
the worst takes.
Derek Queen's the one that goes and hits the buzzer beater. Yeah. All right, back to the East. BYU Wisconsin was an incredibly fun game. That was probably my favorite game in that region. Just because, again, another 2 high octane offenses. I also not a Wisconsin fan, so like seeing them lose.
Wisconsin having a high powered offense is so weird. Like this year.
Also true.
Like, not that they haven't had, they've been very, very good on offense this year. And normally, like, they're just a team that's just impossible to beat. But they do it with a bunch of white guys who will just shoot it. But like, this team is just crazy.
And they're doing it without Chucky.
I know, right?
Which is weird, because he just went on to Louisville and just revitalized his career.
Yeah, but now they are both home, so.
True.
The BYU Wisconsin game was A ton of fun though. Like that one was last night, Saturday night in the round of 32, and it was just like just haymakers just being being thrown at each other all night. I like that one a ton. BYU Alabama is going to be interesting, but we can talk about that once we
BYU
get
Alabama,
through
there
this
might
one.
be 403.
Yes.
I'm not gonna talk about how many makes because it depends on what Alabama team shows up. But
Anything else on this region, the East?
um,
Oh, did you see in the Oregon Liberty game? There was like maybe less than 30 seconds left. And the ref, there was a Liberty dude waiting to check in, and the ref stopped, pretended there was a wet spot, stopped the game, and then told the dude to check in so that he could check into an NCAA tournament game. What a bro.
that is all time. He's my new, I don't even remember what ref it was. My new favorite ref.
I only know it wasn't high knees. That's the only thing
I also know it wasn't Larry Scarota.
Yeah, that's true.
But I also think Larry's sitting at home.
I believe that is correct.
I don't know that he's called a game. Called a game? Did refs call a game? Officiated a game?
Yeah.
This tournament. Speaking of calling games, though, can we talk about the broadcast crew across all these games? S tier, S+ tier.
Yes. Did you see the call of, oh my gosh, Kevin Harlan? Did you see, maybe whether you saw it live or whether you saw it afterwards on the internet, where Kevin Harlan, the ball came over to the table and he was like, deflected by me. Deflected by me. Come on.
Yeah.
Kevin Harlan is just one of the best. Like, every time I watch like a CBS game and he's on it, like I know it's gonna be fire. And then the NCAA tournament games are always so good with him on it. It makes me feel like I'm playing 2K. First of all,
that's facts.
It was always Kevin. I don't know if he does all the 2K games, but like him on
all the ones that matter.
He does all the ones I played. So, a lot of fun with him on the call. But yeah, they've been very good. I've enjoyed that Robbie Hummel's been on the call too. Like, that's been nice.
What does this mean?
What is this? I don't know. He knows, but I don't. I can't suss that one out.
I mean, I guess the candles, maybe.
I don't know.
I just saw a tweet. Did you dip your face in?
Every day. And a 4-minute jump into the pool.
A 4-minute levitate.
Yeah.
Into the pool.
Hey, call it what you want, man. I'm levitating every day.
Apparently, that dude just got some shit like that.
I've seen a lot of stuff about him. So my thought here is 361 days from now, I'm gonna drop a remix of that, a spoof of that video, me getting ready for the NCAA tournament. Throw it out there, see if the people remember. instead of pulling out of water, it's gonna be a beer.
Dip your.
Yep.
That's not. Make it a blue moon and put oranges in it.
It's got legs. I got a year to workshop.
Midwest. Okay, Midwest. Shout out to McNeese.
Shout out to Amir Orakan, bro.
Dude, what are your thoughts on him going to NC State? Did you see that?
I love it. Yeah. Will Wade is going to be the coach at NC State, and he's gonna be a grad assistant there. I love it. Like,
the Twitter, they hate it because they're like, oh, usually it's former players that become grad assistants. Like, no, a lot of current coaches started as grad assistants.
Sometimes, okay, a lot of people are
Dusty May, for example,
managers to grad assistants to coaches. Like, I like it. I don't know why it matters.
I'm so bummed because I almost tweeted last week that before Indiana announced Darren DeVries, and Will Wade was like the current smoke of being the, which I was gonna tweet like something to the effect of, I want Will Wade purely because it means we get Amir Khan.
Have him in.
And because I knew, I just had a feeling
he'd go nuts at Kilroy's.
I was just gonna like tweet about it. I was like, I almost guarantee that he follows Will Wade.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you, kind of thing.
Right.
But I didn't, and now he actually is, and I'm just like, dang, this tweet could have done numbers.
I tell you what, though, for IU having a coach that's not Will Wade is great because of how he got coached. He got
outcoached
by Purdue, by Matt Painter, Purdue.
Yeah.
For 40 minutes. That's like reassuring. People got tired of him. I had no problem. Like, he doesn't control how much he's on the broadcast, first of all. Yeah. He got over 6 figures in NIL deals in the past 2 weeks. Bro, I'm never gonna get mad at someone getting their bag until they have a coin. No shot he has a coin. Like, Hawk Tua, meme was funny. She had a podcast. She did all her things. And it was like, okay, whatever. Capitalize. I would do the exact same thing. But you have a coin, you rug pull, it's too much.
Yeah, but not every coin is it.
There are no good coins. There's the only good coins are like Ethereum and Bitcoin. Coins that matter.
Solana is pretty. There is an Amir Khan coin.
Yeah, but did he start it? Guarantee it was just someone else capitalizing on it to make money.
I don't actually.
That's my bet.
But it's currently down 35.38%.
Exactly.
It's worth $0.0001709.
But he's he's a 6-figure man.
Naturally, I gotta buy it.
No, the only thing that I got tired of, I didn't get tired of him because, like, I thought it was annoying when, like, people were outwardly against him. I thought that was annoying, but I thought that the pig was annoying. Pig got a little annoying.
I love the pig.
At first, when it came back, I was like, oh, this is fun. I remember this. I've watched too many games. Maxwell!
At one point, I was watching it was 3 games on at once. All 3 of them were at commercial. All 3 of them were that commercial. Obviously, they weren't synced up.
Right.
But it was, I wish I would have screenshotted it. It was absolutely electric.
Maxwell.
You don't like that?
I liked it for a time.
That's an all-time commercial in my mind.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's an all-time commercial.
Fine,
but back to our regularly scheduled programming.
The Midwest.
The Midwest. Any major surprises that you saw in general? Could be, a team played better than you thought, team played worse than you thought, game was closer.
Just Clemson being down 31-13 in the half at halftime, and then still playing terrible, and then coming out in the last 4 or 5 minutes and playing like the 2016 Warriors and almost winning. Like, if college basketball games were 41 minutes, McNeese loses.
Yeah.
Like, they absolutely lose this game.
I'd probably tend to agree with you there.
It was just like, I had Clemson winning 2 games, I think, because I forgot how terrible the ACC actually was.
I mean, genuinely, I didn't. I did not feel that Clemson was going to win that first game. I think the 2 brackets that I made, the bracket we made together, we picked McNeese. And then the bracket that I made, I picked McNeese. I just did not have faith in Clemson, just because ACC ass is a real thing in my mind.
I kind of forgot about it because, Clemson beat Duke. They've looked good this season. Louisville, underseeded. these are things that are convincing me that they can win games in the tournament, right?
See, I let Louisville, underseeded Louisville outweigh ACC ass in my head. Like that's the only reason I picked Louisville over Creighton, the first go around. But yeah, it's they're pretty dog water.
Dude. And and then North Carolina also loses. So like, I mean, granted, they're might put up a better performance than Iowa State is currently, but
I haven't even looked up at their score. I've been just
they are getting walked out of the building. Like, it's bad.
I forgot that I put a bet on them. So earlier I bet the over. Then like
I don't know what the over is. The over might hit. It was probably like 140 something.
Yeah. Then right before the show, I was like, or no, it was a live. I took the live under when it was like single digits with 15 minutes left in the first half. I was like, oh, I'm taking the under. This isn't gonna hit. Forgetting that I already bet the over.
You bet the over and the under.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I guess I lose a quarter, either way probably. Based on the number of units that I put down.
But yeah, I mean that was really the only one that surprised me.
Under might hit actually.
I thought that Kentucky was gonna win against Illinois, and they did. Illinois is just too inconsistent for me to actually believe in them to win a game against a really good team 2 times in a row.
I feel like I took them over Kentucky.
I think my logic was they're not going to beat Kentucky because I watched them get beat by 43 to Duke.
Yeah. I think I also I let my disdain towards Kentucky outweigh my affinity for Mark Pope. And I think that's why I sided with the
I love
with
Mark
the
Pope.
Illini.
You gotta pick Mark Pope.
I love Mark Pope, and I could be wrong. I could have very well picked Kentucky. I don't have my bracket in front of me, but
other than that, I mean, like, not a ton in this region. This region was like a little boring. Other than the McNeese noise, and the Kentucky Louisville game was fun. Gonzaga Houston, also really good game, because it looked like Houston was just going to run away with it a little bit, and then Gonzaga comes back and it's like, no, we've made 9 straight Sweet 16s. We are not going out like this.
Well, and that's what, like, my thing. I made a big stink about. I took off Thursday and Friday, as one should.
You're right.
And I had to go to baseball practice at like 3 or 4. And I texted our head coach, was like, cough, cough. I'm sick and can't come to practice. And dude called me. He's like, I can't believe you would try that on me. Like, I know that you're not working. I know that you're watching basketball. I was like, Matt, it's so hard for me to not stay home and just watch this Gonzaga Georgia game because history is on the line. If Gonzaga loses,
right,
Sweet 16 streak is dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I gotta be locked in on this game. I had no doubt that Gonzaga would win against Georgia. But it made for a fun narrative in the second round for sure. I don't remember if I watched that game actually yesterday.
Gonzaga Houston?
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. It was late. I feel like I texted you during the game because it was right before the BYU Wisconsin game, I think. They might have overlapped.
I think what
it's neither here nor there, but
yeah, I was sitting at my parents' garage and their TV is Voodoo Cheeks, or the Fire Stick rather that they have out there is like the original Fire Stick.
That's like mine. I don't even use mine. I honestly forgot I have one plugged into my TV because I just have a smart TV.
Yeah, their TV isn't a smart TV in the garage, but so like I couldn't quad box. I guess I couldn't 3-box because it was just too laggy.
Yeah.
And then when I was watching, the game would just like start to buffer, and then just the stream would just close out.
Mm-hmm.
It would like go back to the YouTube TV like menu or guide screen. So like I think that was why I didn't watch. I like turned it off at one point because there was another game that I was like more locked in on.
And it looked like they were up like pretty decently. For for a while in that game, and then Gonzaga made a real surge at the end. The thing is, this game almost got to 160 points. I think the over was like the over under was like 130 something, like 135, and it got almost to 160. I was like, that's a lot of points for Houston and Gonzaga to score, but they made it happen.
I think I surprisingly have taken the Houston over more often than not this tournament.
Houston looks really good, though. I mean, they were able to, like, Gonzaga had all the momentum at the end of the game, and Houston was able to stop them, which really gives me hope for Houston moving forward. But if you don't have anything else, I think we should. I mean, we can't pick everything. We can pick everything except for one region here, the South region. We can't really pick, and
make predictions for
let's go pick the who's going to make the Elite Eight, and then if we want to, we can pick Final Four teams because we won't talk until after the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
So let's just go to the South. Auburn, Michigan. Who do we think's going to win? We'll repick this bracket together as we ride with each other. We'll let it happen.
Gotta be Auburn, right?
I agree. Michigan's played it too close. Auburn is too good.
Yeah, I think Auburn picks up steam again. I say again, like they didn't have steam when they won by 12.
Right.
Game.
To a really good Creighton team where they limited Kalkbrenner to like only like 17 or something.
Yeah, I think Auburn clears for sure.
I'm with you. I'm with you with Auburn, and then I mean the way it looks right now is it could be New Mexico or Michigan State,
but it's more than likely definitely Ole Miss.
Probably going to be Ole Miss because they're up by 21.
12 minutes to go.
Yeah, they're up by
Iowa
21.
State, and they're a team in my opinion that could close that gap. Sure. But I just think Ole Miss is gonna.
I just don't think they will.
Yeah,
they could, sure, but I don't think they will.
Right? Yeah.
So, given that, I mean, that might make me pick Ole Miss to make the Elite Eight or to make the Elite Eight then because of this performance. But like I did that, and it did not work out for me already this year because, like, when St. John's won by 30 over Omaha and Arkansas won, I was like, St. John's is going to roll Arkansas, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I just don't.
You never know when they're going to have a good game. You never know.
I also think it just comes down to, like, I do think Ole Miss 10 out of 10 times beats New Mexico. I think Ole Miss Michigan State is probably a 5-5. If they played 10 times, I feel like they'd split. So I just don't. I don't know. But, I mean, I lean towards Ole Miss as well.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, but it doesn't really matter because the games aren't even decided. It might be Iowa State and New Mexico, or it might be Iowa State.
Right.
It might be Iowa State and Michigan State or something.
Yeah.
So,
Going to the West, Florida, Maryland.
Maryland had to squeak by a really good, hot Colorado State team. Florida squeaked by a UConn team that played really well today. I don't think I can pick. There's nothing that I've been shown that makes me want to pick against Florida yet. And the team that I thought was going to beat them is out. So, Texas Tech, Arkansas.
I'm going to get my pick. Okay.
Sorry. Do you agree? Or do you disagree?
Yeah, I agree.
We picked together. I took your nodding. I took your nodding.
Yeah,
as,
it makes me hard to pick against the Crab Five, purely because of the nickname. And I also do think Maryland's a really good team, but I just think Florida is they're too dominant at this point.
Yeah.
Texas Tech, Arkansas, though. I lean Texas Tech.
I also lean Texas Tech.
I just think that
they can shoot.
Right. At a consistent level.
Yeah. Arkansas.
I know that, like, Cal, on paper, probably a better coach than McCaslin. But I also I
love Graham McCaslin.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
And I hate Cal. I was actually texting my sister's fiance's dad yesterday during the St. John. He's from New York.
Yeah.
Doesn't really follow college basketball, but's been following St. John's this year. I texted. I was like, I don't know what I want more: St. John's to win or Cal to lose. Obviously, I wanted that out. Like that would be the right outcome, but it's like and the preferable outcome. But like, which one do I want more?
And I always feel like I always feel like in Indiana is like hate Kentucky, and then there's like Louisville is like the enemy of my enemy is my friend, type of deal.
Yeah,
and like Louisville's right there, so it's like, hey man, you're just on the other side of the border. Like we're kind of cool. Like it's kind of chill here.
Yeah. But I think Texas Tech. I think it's gonna be a Florida Texas Tech.
I agree. And then I think that again, I just haven't seen anything that makes me want to pick against Florida.
Yeah.
Like the team that I had beating Florida was St. John's, and they're gone. So I think maybe Florida is the Final Four out of the West.
I had Florida in my champion.
So Florida and Auburn so far, we're going chalk, which is fine.
Yeah.
Duke. Sorry, go ahead.
You're going up to the top. Okay.
Yeah. Go back up to the east. Duke versus the winner of Oregon and Arizona.
That game is on. I pulled up. Of Oregon is up 13. 17-4.
Okay. Is there anything other than Caleb Love that makes you want that is even a reason to not pick Duke?
No.
Like again, this is probably the team that seems like it has not the least wrong with it, but like they have experienced the least amount of struggle because not that they've had like the easiest games, but they have just not even messed around with teams. They've just put them away almost immediately.
Yeah, I think Duke will play.
I do too. I literally don't think it matters who they play, Oregon or Arizona.
BYU, Bama.
Oh, dude. Over under 200. Over under 200.
Honestly, the irony is so far in this tournament, BYU has scored one more point than Bama.
Yep.
That's kind of funny, actually, looking at
80, 80, 90, 91.
Yep.
Take the over in this game. Good Lord.
Yeah.
If the over isn't like 175 or something.
Who do you I'll pull that up. It should show.
Dude, I don't know who to take in this game because again, Alabama is not a team that I trust. 170. I might take it just for fun.
The over?
Yeah, I might take it just for fun.
Dog, I just did.
Let's go.
I have that too. Yeah, we might see 200 points scored in this game. I just think BYU wins though. I love Nate Oates, but I think BYU wins.
BYU has all the pizzazz, you know.
Let me look. I feel like BYU has a better defense. Fifth best offense, 54th. So 5th and 54. Bama.
He's looking it up.
A lot of scrolling. Already scrolled past it. And they're below it. 4th and 28th. Okay, so on paper, Alabama does have a better defense. Mm-hmm. Which actually kind of surprises me. But I think BYU, man. BYU.
You know what? I like it.
The SEC hasn't really impressed me that much this tournament. And there can't be 3 SEC teams in the Elite Eight. That's just not right. So I got it for the narrative. For the anti-SEC narrative, I'm going BYU.
Yeah. We didn't even mention the fact that the Big Ten set a record going 10-0. Best start for a conference ever, and then they immediately follow it up by going 0-2 afterwards. Immediately go 0-2. What was the next game this morning? Was it
Illinois.
Was that the first game? That wasn't the first game.
UCLA.
No, that was the last game
yesterday.
last night. Hang on, I got this.
It had to have been Illinois.
What's today?
Today's the 23rd.
Was it really Illinois? Oh, the first Big Ten game?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was Illinois. So then they immediately followed up with going 0-3.
Yeah, because
After they go 10-0,
yeah.
and then Maryland won to bring it back, to bring them back in the win.
Either way, though, good for the brand. Good for the brand. So who do you like in that game? Do you like BYU or Bama?
I'll take BYU. I'll ride that with you.
So Duke, BYU.
Duke. I still don't think there's a reason to pick against Duke.
So right now we've said
I would love to be wrong.
So right now we've said it's
3-1 seeds, yes.
Auburn, Florida, and Duke in the final.
And
four.
I have Houston in my national championship. As my national champion in my own bracket.
I have Houston winning the national championship against Florida.
The thing I've learned is this year, chalk. If you had gone chalk, you would probably be winning your bracket. Like, you would probably be winning your bracket pool right now if you had just gone chalk.
Pretty much. Okay, so that takes us. Let's go to Kentucky, Tennessee next.
Yeah.
Who do you like in that game?
I like Kentucky because they've already beaten Tennessee twice this year.
That's where I'm like. I think Rick Barnes breaks the curse. I think Rick Barnes gets his team. They've lost twice. Big.
In the Elite
Twice. No,
in this year?
In the season, yeah.
Okay.
Right? They lost big to both. Let me actually pull that up.
Well, I mean, they got swept, so I just
lost
think
by 5. Lost by. They only played once this year. Oh no, there it is.
Yeah.
Lost by 11.
Yeah.
I think the Vols get it done.
I don't. Which means we have to flip a coin.
I'm not equipped to be able to.
You don't have to throw it up on stream. I will not lie.
Okay, it's doing the automatic flip because we didn't establish. Landing on heads, just so you're aware from the automatic flip.
Okay. I will let you pick first. I'm a gentleman.
I'm taking Tennessee tails.
Okay.
The tails. We go Tennessee.
Yep. Heads.
Flipping.
Heads.
It's heads. All right.
Kentucky gets it done. Beats them 3 times in one season, and once again stops Rick Barnes from getting to the Final Four, which is brutal.
That'd stop him from getting to the 8.
I know, but I mean, guarantees.
Yeah.
The thing that he's trying to do is get to a Final Four, and it still doesn't happen.
Yeah. I certainly didn't think it happened either way, but I felt like Tennessee gets it done and gets to the Elite 8. Houston, Purdue. I intentionally left this one last.
Listen, I love Purdue. We are an Indiana show, but if last year's national championship game showed me anything, it's what happens when Purdue has elite defenders guarding them the whole game. And Fletcher Lawyer hopefully is at 100%. He's injured right now, has not been shooting much, and when he's been shooting, it hasn't been well. I think that Houston is going to basically delete him from the game.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that oh, Purdue had an easy path.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. Like,
But
that's what happens when you are a 4 seed.
right,
Like,
I think that Houston just I don't think it's particularly close.
I don't either. I don't think it's. The thing is, Houston will turn you over, and if you turn the ball over against Houston, they are going to score it. And Purdue turns the ball over a lot against good defenses.
Yeah, and when Purdue turns the ball over, they usually I think they've got all the stats in their favor for like, oh, XYZ happens, they're 80-4, whatever.
Yeah.
But if they have like 10 or more steals or turnovers,
Yeah.
Purdue, they almost never win.
I think Braden Smith had like 7 or 8 in the last game against McNeese, and they still won. Like,
I didn't pay attention to the turnover column.
But
like just in general, I think that
McNeese,
Houston's defense is unlike any defense that Purdue has played this year, and I think that's the difference maker. Because this Houston team can also score.
Yeah, it's Kelvin's best 3-point shooting team ever.
Yeah.
At least at Houston, at least I have not fact checked past that.
Right. Right.
But I just really think that their defense is too much. Like, Cam Heide coming on in the tournament has been incredible for Purdue. Like, been a difference maker. I just think that Houston's defense and Houston's ability is just too good. I know the game. First of all, hold on. The game is in Lucas Oil, dude, not Gainbridge.
Don't get me started.
Ridiculous. And half of it is curtained off.
The only thing I could think of is that they did it that way they can start the other game, or like have people get. I don't know. Like, are they playing? Do they have a second court?
I don't know. But why would they need a second court? You'd have to. There's no way they're doing the second court, right? Because then you'd have to, like, this is the regional, right? This is the there's 2 Midwest regionals. Or no, I guess they all play in the same spot.
Yeah.
They're all in Lucas Oil. But like,
that's why I was
you
thinking.
only have 2 games there that day.
I mean,
so why would you?
Hang on, let's look up. Sure. The only thing I could think of is if the Pacers have a game.
You push the Pacers. You push the Pacers.
What are the dates on the Elite Eight game?
2 days ago. Well, they're on the Friday, so the 28th.
Pacers are on the road.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think they're just trying to sell. There must be more seats there, I guess.
I mean, which seems half the stadium, more seats, it makes sense. But like
the viewing experience is worse.
Dog, they played the national championship in a football stadium last year.
Yeah, I know. They do that every year, and it always sucks.
Yeah, I was like, they're gonna do it. It's dumb, unequivocally, but
I think that Houston is fine, and they move on, and then I think Houston goes on to beat Kentucky, and then we have 4 1 seeds in the Final Four, and that's where we're gonna end that. We go chalk because this year everything's going chalk, and I literally I can't see Purdue, and I love this Purdue team, and I love how they've been playing. I just can't see Purdue beating Houston, and I cannot see Kentucky beating Houston either. I don't know that I can see anyone beating Houston. That's the thing.
Not wrong.
But
you're not wrong. As much as I love this Florida team, as much as I hate to say that I love this Duke team,
yeah,
like, I just don't think
Duke. We need, no matter what, we need to have Duke and Houston have to play in the Final Four. Like, we have to get that.
That would feed families.
Yes. I guess we'll be back after the Elite Eight. What else do you want to talk about? Anything else you want to hit on?
I feel like there was something. We mentioned it on our Twitter, sorry, our X, the Everything app. We posted something. Let us know in the comments, whether that's on TikTok or YouTube, or if you're listening on audio, hit our DMs on any social media platform, or head over to YouTube, whatever, comment. Let us know if we were to sell apparel or any kind of branded item, whether, what would you want? Both, like, are you a hoodie? Are you a hoodie person? Do you want a coffee mug? Do you want our logo on it? Do you want our faces on it? Let us know. We are kind of having that internal discussion with our unpaid intern, to determine the kind of what path we take if we were to pursue this. So we definitely want everyone's input on that. You want a little flag? I would actually go kind of hard. A little flag like this with the logo on it.
Logo on it.
Could go kind of hard. But yeah, let us know. We want to, if we do, decide to start selling apparel or promotional items like that, we want to put out items that our viewers and listeners would want. So hit the comments, or hit our DMs. Let us know.
We'll get, if we come out with something, we'll get whatever type of merch you want, and then we're gonna start brainstorming some deep cuts. Turn those into merch. I personally just want a Jaren one-time math major shirt more than anything. I'd wear that day in and day out.
Or if you are a designer and want to help us design merch, let us know as well, because we are not that.
Our unpaid intern has limited hours.
Yes. Because if they work too many hours, then they would have to be paid, and we don't want to do that. We have a written agreement that if X number of hours gets worked, then they get paid. And we're gonna keep them below that. Is that like it's not a child labor law, because they're not
a child. Come on.
Is that against like OSHA?
They're safe.
There's got to be some workplace policy that we're breaking with that. Maybe I don't know.
We don't get into that.
No, that's above our pay grade. Yeah, let us know. Hit our DMs, comment on our post, comment in the chat, whatever. Yeah, that's really the only thing I wanted to bring up. Live score update before we sign off here. The score bug just went away in the Iowa State game. They're down, but it is 31-31 in the New Mexico-Michigan State game. The second half just started, so I think 17 minutes left. Then the Ole Miss Iowa State game, it is 78-52 Ole Miss with 5:40 to go in the second half. To go back to that New Mexico-Michigan State game, there's 18 minutes left. And I guess since it's also live, Oregon is up 6, 26-20 with 9 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah.
Over Arizona. But that is, I think, the show, right, Adam? Nothing else from you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the clock is showing quadruple zeros, so it's time for us to get out of here. Thanks for checking in on the State of Basketball podcast. We will see you in the Final Four. Right?
We'll see you
before the Final Four. And remember, in 49 states,
it's just basketball.